Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is February 17th, 2024, and Barcelona just pulled off a chaotic and erratic victory in Balaidos, beating Celta Vigo 1-2 with 2 goals by Robert Lewandowski. This is the post-match live analysis. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and this is the post-match live analysis where we analyze Barcelona matches as soon as they end and where we get to interact with each other through the chat section, reading your comments out loud, answering any questions and getting a discussion going. This is not to be confused with the Barca News podcast, which are on Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we discuss Barcelona news and where I also get to interact with you wonderful people through the chat section. I haven't said that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. And let's start with the match analysis because Barcelona just defeated Celta Vigo 1-2 in Balaidos in an away match, only 3 days, or is it 3 days, 4 days ahead of the Champions League, which is a good thing. First of all, we needed these 3 points. We need every single point we can get from here until the end of the season in order to finish in those top 4 spots so we can qualify to the Champions League next season. As I've said it many times before, if we don't qualify to the Champions League, not only is this a sporting disaster, it will be a financial disaster because Barcelona would miss out on a lot of money by not participating in the Champions League. So we need to be getting as many points as possible. So the 3 points that we took home were very, very crucial, but it's also an important victory because we do have the Napoli match in a few days, and it's good for the team's morale to be able to travel to Italy with a victory under their belt. That way they can have their morale boosted, and hopefully we can get a positive result in Italy. Now, as far as the performance of the team, well, still pretty crappy performance. I don't think there's any way around this. I think I said this in the past few live streams, and I'll say it again. I don't think this is going to improve. This is what we got. It's still going to be a bad performance every single match from here until the end of the season. And until next season, I don't think we're going to see any improvements. We'll see maybe a few better performances here and there. But overall, it's going to be the same. It's going to be a team without any ideas, a team that struggles a lot to make it to the final third of the opposing side. And once they do make it, it's a team that struggles a lot to create chances or to even score goals. Again, very, very unstructured, unorganized team, extremely slow and sluggish, no ideas, no tactics, just 11 players moving the ball around, hoping for the best. I've said it again. I don't want to keep repeating myself. I sound like a broken record, but this is what we got. And it's not going to improve. It hasn't improved all season. Yes, we had a few positive results here and there where the team looked like they were about to, make a jump into a better performance, like against Real Betis, both matches, maybe the first match against Royal Antwerp, maybe the first match against Shakhtar Donetsk? What was the other team? But besides that, it's been on the same scale over and over again, just bad performance after bad performance. Lucky wins here and there, miracle wins here and there, and then once again, a team that didn't really impress gets a penalty kick in the final moment. We score it. Thank God. We get the 3 points. We get the victory, but nothing to applaud here, but at least we could celebrate a victory because, as I've said before, at this point, I have resigned myself. I know this team is not going to get better. I know things are not going to change. So for now, I'm no longer asking Barcelona for good performances. All I'm asking Barcelona is to try to win by any means possible. So that's what Barcelona gave us today, a victory by any means possible. So I guess we'll celebrate that. I'm happy for the 3 points. I'm happy that the team gets to go to the Champions League with the victory under their belt. But let's be honest, there's nothing to celebrate as far as the team's performance. Now, I will focus more on the positives. I'm going to discuss different players, try to see, see what positive things we can salvage out of this performance. But first, let's start with the chat section because I know a lot of you guys were waiting. I'm sorry I had to change the time of the live stream. I had originally scheduled it for 2:45, but I changed it to 3 p.m. just because I had a few things. But let's start. Sammy Boy says, I'm kind of disappointed again. Same, but, the best thing you could do right now is just keep your expectations low. Again, I've always said I'm not about the results. I'm more about how the team performs, how the team plays. Because if I only cared about the results, I wouldn't bother watching. I would just, Google the result when the match is over. But at this point, I know this team is not going to get any better. I know this team is not going to improve. So at this point, I do care only about the results. So now the only thing I ask of Barcelona is to get wins, to finish top 4 in La Liga, to hopefully get past Napoli. But besides that, there's not much I can ask because, again, I know this team is just not going to get better, is not going to perform well, at least until next season. So I've resigned myself to that. Just keep your expectations low. As long as we get a victory, I'm happy because that's what we got. All right, let's see. Fozini says, I'm Luis Nani. Hi, Mo. This is my first time having time to watch you from Dubai. Team Barca is my DNA. I really love the team. I pray we get back to our olden days. Thank you for joining the live stream for the first time. I hope you enjoy it. And yes, I hope so too that we get back to our olden days. Let's see. Mark says, if there are any truth behind the Zerbi being confirmed. Ooh, excuse me, guys. My allergies. I have the heater on because it's snowing outside, and the heater always gives me allergies. But any truth behind the Zerbi being confirmed? As far as I know, as far as my sources, they have not confirmed anything. The Zerbi is definitely amongst, I would say, the top 2 choices right now. It's between him and Hansi Flick. That's what I know about it. That's what my sources are telling me. I don't have any information that confirms 100% that the Zerbi has been chosen. All I know is that it's between the Zerbi and Flick. Not to say that information is incorrect. I'm just telling you what information I have. Of course, everybody has their own information, but the information I have is that the Zerbi is by the top 2 choices alongside with Hansi Flick, but I haven't gotten any info that says that he has been confirmed for sure. Anyways, Olvi says, until anything is 100%, they are just rumors, but of course, some sources are more reliable than others. True. And then one more. Football Dizit says, bro, how do we have any hope against Napoli? Okay, I'll tell you how. Not because I have hopes that the team somehow is going to perform amazing and beat Napoli. Our only hope against Napoli is that Napoli are also going through a bad phase. They just changed coaches. They did reinforce themselves during the winter transfer market, but things still have not improved. They're still struggling, so that's our hope. Our hope is that Napoli is also going to struggle, just like we are, but our hope is that we might struggle a little bit less than they and hopefully pull a victory. But I don't see us beating Napoli because we're an amazing team who's just going to demolish them. It's just they're struggling too. So our hope is that our struggle is a little bit better than theirs. So that's our hope, but we'll see. Anyways, let's get back to the match analysis because I do want to talk about the formation. Interesting formation, of course, Ter Stegen back in goal with Jules Koundé. Horrific match by Jules Koundé, but we'll talk about it later. With Araujo and Pau Cubarsí as center backs. Of course, Íñigo Martínez came later for Araujo. And then we had Joao Cancelo on the left. And then in the middle, we had Christensen once again as a pivot who was later substituted by Gundogan. And then Frankie and Pedri as interiors. And then the front 3, we had Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal, and Vitor Roque on the left. Now, let's start with the defensive line because we have to talk about Jules Koundé. And horrific performance by Jules Koundé. I don't know what happened to the Jules Koundé of last season. Incredibly slow. Very slow to react. Very slow to run. Constantly losing his mark. And then on top of that, getting mad when his teammates would call his attention. There was one play where it's a throw-in, he throws it to the Celta Vigo players, and I think it was Íñigo or someone who yells at him, and instead of apologizing, saying, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, he gets mad, he starts arguing, and then he goes like F off. Not good, because, look, we all have our bad matches, But this has been a constant with Kunde. And then when you get to the point where you don't even want to hear criticism, then that's bad, because that tells me you don't want to improve, that you just simply don't care. You had a bad performance. Oh, well, don't tell me anything. Who cares, right? Not good at all. And I think if he continues this way, and Barcelona should consider offloading him. Of course, as I reported before, Barcelona are open to hearing offers for Kunde. And I was really hoping he can recover his form, because I still believe that he's an incredibly talented center back. But it's just the amount of bad matches he's had way outweighs the amount of good matches that he's had. And something needs to be done. Anyways, let's continue, because a lot of people, of course, were worried about Ronald Araujo. Ronald Araujo was substituted during the halftime. So far, what sources are telling me is he is not injured. This was simply a precaution. Now, we all know that Ronald Araujo has been dealing with some discomfort. He hasn't been really fully fit. He's had some pain. I think it's his knee or his thigh. But so this was simply a precaution where Xabi took him out just to, protect him. So don't worry, Ronald Araujo is not injured. Most likely he will be available for Napoli. The reason he was taken out during the halftime and we brought in Iñigo was simply for a precaution. And Iñigo ended up doing a good job too alongside Coarsi. So I don't think we missed Ronald Araujo that much. Not because Ronald Araujo is not good. It's just because I think Iñigo and Pau Coarsi did a good job. So did Joao Cancelo, helping a lot with the attack. Maybe not so much during the second half, but during the first half, he was very lethal in that flank, causing a lot of damage and a lot of headache for Celta Vigo's defense. Andreas Christensen, another decent match by him in the pivot position. And I'm starting to like what I see. It was a match where you didn't really notice he was there, but that's a good thing. Because when you don't notice your pivot there, those are good matches, because it means you only really notice pivots when they're making mistakes. Because when a pivot makes a mistake in a Barcelona scheme or style of play, you leave your center backs completely exposed. So the pivot becomes very noticeable when a pivot makes mistakes. Kind of like when a goalie makes a mistake. You're like, oh, you're definitely got to notice it, because it's going to end up in goal or very close to goal. And Christensen went yet another match without being noticed too much, which means that he is doing his job. I'm not going to say it's a fantastic job. Oh my God, this is Sergio Busquets 2.0. Not at all. And you shouldn't expect that, because this is only Christensen's third match as a pivot. But decent job, and I'm liking what I'm seeing by Andreas Christensen. Very solid defensively. Of course, we already knew that, because he was an excellent center back the entire last season. But then really good with the ball at his feet, with the ball distribution. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Christensen. Again, I'm not saying he should be now the official pivot of Barcelona. We're not there yet. But I think if we could continue playing him in that position until the end of the season, and if Christensen can continue improving, then maybe at the end of the season, we can have a serious discussion of what if we don't spend money on a pivot and just have Christensen and then use that money towards something else like the left wing, right? But we're not there yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're not there yet, but there are good signs that we could get there as far as Christensen being Barcelona's pivot. But anyways, let's do the chat section, and then we'll continue talking about the players. Let's see. Where did we leave off? Sammy Boy has a prediction. Says, goal in the first few minutes of Napoli, then second half again goal. First few minutes of halftime for Napoli. All right. If you guys want to leave your predictions, please let me know. Kelvin says, I don't see us winning against Napoli in midweek. Let's say by the Champions League this season. Otherwise, it won't be easy for us to win away from home. We really need to find a solution at defense. It's not really the defense that's solely responsible for what's going on. It's the entire team, right? And this is something I've talked about before. When your team doesn't have any structure, it's going to be very weak and it's going to be very porous, and other teams are going to be able to get through it. But of course, who's going to take the blame is the defense, because that's the easiest thing to point at. But if your midfield's not functioning, it's going to leave your defense exposed, and you're going to blame it on the defense, even though the midfield was also partly at fault. If your forwards are not pressing, the other team is going to be able to make it. And again, it's going to leave your defense exposed, and you're going to blame it on the defense, even though your attackers were also partly at fault. So this is not solely a defensive problem. This is a whole team problem. There's no structure. There's no organization. Therefore, the team is extremely weak and porous, and the other sides can just easily make it to our final third. And of course, you would blame it on the defense because it's the easiest, most obvious choice to put it on. But let's not forget that the midfield is also responsible, that the attacking line is also responsible. It's the whole team that's failing, and therefore our defense continuously remains exposed. Kay says, I don't get why players like Hector Fort and Casado travel if we're never going to play them. We're in desperate need of a DM, and Kunde is playing terrible at... Kunde is playing terrible at the moment. Why can't we give him... I see. I thought you were talking about Kunde playing as a DM. I agree. I think this was a good match to bring in maybe Hector Fort in place of Kunde, because Kunde was having a terrible match. I get it. You need the points. And so Xabi bet on the experience player, bringing Kunde over Hector Fort. I get that. I get why he chose to start Kunde first. But if you're seeing that Kunde is just making mistake after mistake, take him out. Bring in Hector Fort. But I don't know. All right, and one more. And Alistair says, always difficult facing Celta, whether it be away or at home, but somehow most of the time we come out on top. Actually, this season, they're very weak. So there's no reason why we should have struggled this much against them. And at this point, honestly, we're struggling against every single team. So I don't know. But, maybe it's because according to Xavi, every single team in La Liga is the best team in the world. And it's a tough opponent. And they're most prepared. And they're amazing tactics. And their coach is amazing. And anyways. All right, so let's get back to the lineup, because I do want to say a few more things. Let's make this bigger. But Frankie, let's talk about Frankie. I think I saw someone asking what performance about Frankie. Frankie, I've had a love-hate relationship with him, more of a roller coaster, because when he first arrived in Barcelona, there was a lot of excitement and a lot of expectations of him, because Ajax Frankie was absolutely amazing. He looked like he was going to be one of the best midfielders in the world. Maybe he is now, but looked like he was going to be, a difference maker on the field. And for the first, 2 seasons, under Valverde, under Setien, under Koeman, he was a huge disappointment. He simply did not live up to the expectations. And then Xabi comes, and Xabi somehow is able to get the best out of Frankie, which is one of the good things that Xabi has done. Actually, there's a lot of things that Xabi has done well. But one of the good things that Xabi does is to extract the best out of Frankie. And we see an absolutely phenomenal Frankie last season. We were seeing a phenomenal Frankie for most of this season. And now, as of late, it's back to the same stuff as before, where he's constantly disconnected. He's constantly losing his mark. If you watch last, I want to say 5 or 10 goals that Barcelona have been scored on, Frankie is at fault in almost every single one of them because he lost his mark. So he's constantly making those mistakes, those loss of concentration mistakes, losing his mark, not making the runs he's supposed to make. And it's back to the same stuff as before. So that's why I say it's been a roller coaster where, he started out by disappointing, and then he started being absolutely amazing. And now it's like, again, right? Maybe it's because he's unhappy or because he feels like he's having doubts about being in Barcelona. Of course, I don't blame him. When he joined, he probably thought, he was going to be winning Champions Leagues and trebles and things, and he hasn't. So maybe that's why. But last few matches have been very worrisome when it comes to Frankie's performance. Anyways, let's get back to the lineup because I want to talk about the front three. And I did not understand Vitor Roque being played as a left winger. Now, this was both good and bad. This was a double-edged sword. And I say it's a double-edged sword because on one hand, Vitor Roque had a terrible match. Because of course he would. He has never played on the left wing. You put him there, of course he didn't know what to do because he's a pure center forward. He has played on the right wing, and he has done a good job on the right wing with Atletico Paranaense, but on the left wing, that's completely new to him. So, of course, he had a bad match because he had no idea what to do. But on the other hand, Vitor Roque being there on the field freed up Lewandowski a lot more. And this has been a constant problem for Lewy because opposing teams know that the only person on the team that can score is Lewy. That's it. Nobody else can score. Rafinha cannot score. Lamine, well, he's 16 years old, but you can't really expect much. Joao Felix is too busy trying to do his fancy footwork. So they know that the only danger is Lewandowski. So what they always do, and you can go back and watch all the highlights or the replays or whatever, they always have 2 or 3 defenders marking him because they know if you cancel out Lewandowski, there goes Barcelona's goal-scoring opportunities, right? But by having Vitor Roque on the field with Lewy, now you have 2 goal threats, and that all of a sudden splits up their defense. And you saw that where Lewandowski was very, very active during the first, 50, 60 minutes, and he had several chances, including obviously scoring the goal. But then when Vitor Roque comes out, Lewandowski disappears again because there's nobody to take away that attention, that defensive attention away from Lewy. So this was like a double-edged sword where we put Vitor Roque in a bad position, so he had a bad match. But at the same time, it did help free up Lewandowski more, which allowed him to score. And by the way, his first goal, what a goal. That's the Lewy we're talking about. I mean, the way he just first touch frees himself up from all the defenders, and then the missile that he just puts in that lower corner is absolutely world-class. But, I mean, we've seen Lewy do that over and over again all throughout his career. I mean, he's one of the greatest center forwards of our generation. But just like we have to give credit when credit is due, we also have to call people out. And what is up with Lewandowski taking penalty shots? What the fuck is that? It's every fucking time. He does that dumbass shit where he runs to the ball, takes a little hop, and then he kicks it. And he's already missed before, by the way. He missed one because he did that dumbass little skip. We got lucky where the goalie comes off his line and gets replayed or re-kicked or whatever, or retaken, whatever. And then he does the same shit again. What is up with the dumbass little skip? Dude, you are a world-class player. You're one of the best center forwards of our generation. Just kick the fucking ball. Run towards it and kick it as hard as you can and as low as you can in one of the corners. That's it. No fucking, what is this dumbass little hopscotch bullshit with the little, skip, fuck you doing? It fucking drives me crazy. Every time Lewy does that, every time I see Lewy is about to take a penalty kick, I'm like shaking in my seat. I'm like, this guy's going to miss it. And he has missed it before, and he missed it today. Thankfully, he got retaken, and he scored it. But, dude, just kick the fucking ball. That's it. No need for that hopscotch bullshit. Just do it. Drives me nuts. But nonetheless, we do have to give him credit for his first goal. Brilliant goal. And let's head to the chat section. And, oh, my God. It's getting way too hot. I need to turn this heater off. Let's see. Let's see what you guys are saying. Mark says, Yamal is 16 years old and has a first touch. Miss me with that age. Thing about having a first touch, it's fucking basics of football. Yes, indeed. Mark says, Vitor Roque doesn't have a first touch. This has nothing to do with playing on the wing. That lack of first touch is concerning. I don't think it's a first touch problem. He's a right-footed center forward that's being played on the left. Of course, he's going to struggle. Devin says, Barcelona isn't playing any football to beat any team at all, but I'm still praying they win next week. Same, my friend, same. Like I said before, at this point, I'm just hoping for victories. I'm not asking, the team to perform well. I know it's not going to do it. And Kay with the donation. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for the donation. I'm guessing you did an emoji, but again, my software does not show emojis for some reason. I don't know why, but let's see. What else? Ovi says, is anybody noticing that basically every halftime Xavi gets out-coached? Yes. And speaking of halftimes, another thing we have to talk about. Every time Barcelona start a half, whether it's the first half or the second half, the team is completely asleep. It's like they took a nap, and when you wake up from a nap, you're all groggy. You're like, can't see anything. And I don't know what it is. But every time the team starts a half, completely sleep at the wheel and we get scored on. We've seen so many goals being scored in the first few seconds or few minutes of the match. And then we've seen so many goals being scored in the first few minutes, first few seconds of the second half, which happened today. The second half starts, boom, Celta Vigo, goal. And I don't know what it is, but this team cannot seem to start a half by being focused and ready to play. It's like they need to first warm up, let me drink my coffee, let me smoke my cigarette, read the newspaper, maybe I'll call my mom, see how she's doing. Oh, wait, the half already started? Hold on. It's like, I don't know what's going on, but the team needs to really get it together when it comes to that. I also want to talk about Lamine because I've said it before many times and I'll say it again. This kid is just from another planet. Let's not forget he's 16 years old. He's still a child. Not only is he not developed as a player, he's not even fully developed as a human being. Like his body is still growing. His muscles are not fully developed. His bones are not fully developed. His ligaments are not even fully developed. And he's already doing what he's doing at this age. Can you imagine once he hits 20, once his body is fully developed? Can you imagine when he hits 23, 25, when he's fully developed as a player? I mean, this guy is just on another level. And right now, Barcelona are being carried by Lamine because he might have not scored today, but you cannot deny the fact that the team was able to pull a victory in huge part thanks to him. Because, first of all, the first goal by Lewandowski, as great as it was, it comes from a Lamine Yamal play where he just grabs the ball and just runs through all the defenders and passes the ball to Lewy. Second goal, it was actually thanks to him getting kicked in the ass. Which was, by the way, hilarious. I've never seen such a funny. Let's see. There we go. My computer's having a meltdown. But anyways, the second goal also is a penalty kick caused by Lamine because he gets kicked in the ass. So there's no doubt that today's victory was hugely in part to Lamine. And that's the kind of wingers that you want. Wingers that make a difference. Wingers that when they get the ball, you are on your edge of your seat because you're like, oh my God, something's about to happen. Even if nothing happens, you still are like, oh my God, something's about to happen. A winger that when he gets the ball, the other team is also like, oh shit, this guy has the ball. Not Rafinha, when he gets the ball, everybody's like, oh great, there we go. There goes Rafinha has the ball, but he's about to lose it. Or when the other team is like, the other team, whenever Rafinha has the ball, always watch the other team. They always send out one guy to mark him because they know he's not going to do anything. But when Lamine Yamal gets the ball, the other team sends 2-3 guys out. And that's the difference maker. That's what a difference maker is. And he cost us nothing, where we had to pay 60 million euros for Rafinha. And for Ferran, by the way. I don't want to just put it all on Rafinha. Ferran, too, 55 million euros. And when he gets the ball, nobody's like, oh, my God, here we go. He's about to destroy us. Meanwhile, Lamine cost us nothing. Anyways, let's do a few more comments. See what everybody's saying. And William says, nah, the skip is crazy. It is. I don't get it. Anyways. King Had says, I think Roque should be a consistent super sub. Against Napoli, we should change formation for Christ's sake. Look how Lewa played today with support of Roque. Change the formation. You know what? I thought about that today, and I said, because I just mentioned that how Vitor Roque being played on a wing, it kind of like made him have a bad match, but at the same time, it made Lewy have a good match. So maybe a 4-4-2 would be a better choice where you can have both Lewy and Vitor Roque playing side to side in the box. And that way it would still free up Lewy because Vitor is there, but at the same time, Vitor can still have a good match because Vitor is in a position that he's used to being, which is in the box. So maybe a 4-4-2 would be a good option. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let's see. Sammy Boy says, do you think that Lamine can beat Madrid's new Galactico team with Mbappe? Look, with a good coach, we can have an amazing team because we have the players. We have Pedri, we have Gabi, we have Frankie, we have Gundo, Araujo, Fort, Coarci, Lamine, Vitor, Joaquin. We have amazing players, and under the right coach, we can have an amazing team as long as you can use these players to their full potential and put the pieces together like they're supposed to go. Because what we have right now is a puzzle, is a beautiful puzzle of a beautiful image, but the pieces are not together. They're like just taped, and the corner pieces in the middle pieces in the corner, and that's what we have now. So we have the right pieces. We just got to put the puzzle together, and for that we need a good coach. And I think with a good coach, we could compete with Madrid. I mean, we competed against Los Galacticos with much less. We competed against BBC, Benzema. No, that's not a porno term. Benzema, Bale, and Cristiano. We can compete. It's just we need the right coach so we can use all these players to their full potential. Let's see. And Axel says, bro, Yamal is also going to start in Napoli. Yes, I was worried. I was very worried about Yamal. I think a better substitution would have been to bring out Lamine and put in Rafinha. As bad as Rafinha is, but Lamine needs to be rested. Or maybe, still have Rafinha on the left and put in Vitor Roque on the right and have Lamine come out, since Vitor Roque does play better on the right than on the left. But I'm concerned about his minutes too. He's playing way too much. He's playing 90 minutes of every match. And I'm sure he will start against Napoli, so we'll see. From Lenny says, Barca team, no soul, no structure, crazy defending, dumb coach, dumb president. Tell me, how can a team perform? And their coach says he doesn't enjoy being at work from Monday to Friday. I agree. I think that's been a big problem with Xabi's constant press conferences. And this is something I said in yesterday's video, where I really think the Barcelona communication department should have given Xabi some training and said, look, this is how you answer questions. This is how you avoid saying the dumbass shit that he's been saying. Because constantly going up there and saying, oh, this job is hell. Everybody criticizes you. It's a thankless job. It's so much pressure, blah, blah, blah. I mean, what message are you sending to your players? What message are you sending to the players that Barcelona are going to try to sign? Because these players who might be dreaming of playing in Barcelona, they turn on and they see the coach saying, oh, this place is hell. It's so hard. It's so much pressure. Nobody thanks you for it. And you're like, wait a minute. Maybe I shouldn't go there. This sounds like an extremely toxic place. So it's like, what is going on with all these messages that Xabi just keeps giving us on the press conference? And that's why I say the communication department should have definitely done a training and said, dude, like, stop saying this dumbass shit. Also, why announce a resignation? If he wanted to resign, he should have talked to Laporta and be like, look, I'm resigning at the end of the season. And Laporta should have said, look, hold on, don't announce anything yet. Let's discuss it with our communication department. And, let's sleep over it. Discuss, like, is this a good strategy? Because it's not. Because, again, like, Lucas Bergvall, I wouldn't be surprised if part of the reason he decided not to come is because Xabi's announcement. Because, he always said that growing up, he watched Xabi play, that he's always wanted to be like Xabi as a midfielder. So if that's your hero that you watch playing growing up and you want to be like him as a player, and all of a sudden you get the chance to play under him as a coach, and all of a sudden he's like, no, wait, I'm quitting. You're like, oh, wait a minute. I just don't get it. These press conferences have done a lot of damage. And for what? I mean, what is Xavi trying to achieve with these press conferences? To play the victim card, to make it look like he's the hero who poor me. Like, and I don't get the whole, this is a thankless job. Dude, you get paid 8.5 million euros. That's a big fucking thank you. Yo, give me those 8 million euros and you don't ever have to say the words thank you to me ever again, ever, for anything. Even if I save your life, you don't have to thank me if you give me those 8.5 million euros. Like, what? What do you mean it's a thankless job? Every job in the world is like that. Every job in the world, you get thanked with a paycheck. I go to work every day. I'm not like, oh, nobody thanks me for my work. I get a check every 2 weeks. That's my thank you. But anyways, Oxy DF says, I think Kunde needs to be bench, play for a while. Either he's fatigued or terrible. I agree. I don't know what's going on with Kunde, man. Let's see. We'll do one more and then we'll end it. We're already at 35 minutes. If Kvara starts on the right flank, Cancelo is cooked. Yeah. Cancelo is just not good defensively. The That's why I've always said that maybe we should have Hector Fort on there, or I don't know, maybe have a line of 3 center backs, and then have more Cancelo as a winger, because Cancelo offensively is amazing. It's his defense that always leaves us exposed and worries me. But anyways, okay, maybe we'll do one more. I like interacting with you, amazing, crazy people. Loney says, I can't watch this. We play like a mid team with these players. I agree, my friend. And Alan says, how would you rate Christian today? I believe he was great. Yeah, like I said, nobody noticed he was there, which is exactly what you want from your pivot. You want your pivot to go unnoticed, because if you notice your pivot, that means he's making mistakes. And he went unnoticed. So anyways, that is it today. Important victory, 3 very important points that we desperately needed. Important victory also for the team's morale, because we get to go to Napoli with a I was gonna say Naples, but I'm pretty sure it's Napoli. Because now we get to go to Napoli with a victory under our belt. Hopefully that will help with the team's morale. Still a disappointing performance, but as I said many times before, this is what we got. Nothing's changing. So for now, I just pray to get as many victories as possible to get past Napoli, to finish top 4 in the Liga. In the next season will be a new chapter, but it's gonna be a long end of the season. But anyways, thanks you guys for tuning in. You guys are absolutely amazing. I will see you in the news video later tonight. As always, Visca Barça.